episode of the Sean Farrell podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. It's going to get into it. So there was a Broadway star. There is a Broadway star, excuse me, named Audra McDonald. Opens up about her suicide attempt and psychiatric hospital stay. That was the darkest time of her life. Okay. Um, the Broadway star shared that the bravest thing she ever did was reach out for help after attempting to end her life when she was 20. Um, she did attempt suicide during a depressive episode while studying at Juilliard. Um, she's now 55. Spent a month at the psychiatric hospital, calling it the darkest time of my life, but also the beginning of my healing. There's power and strength in giving yourself permission to fail and try again. Okay. She said her biggest dream was to be on Broadway, to tell stories through song, and to live in that place where music and emotion meet. Okay. She was living in New York City, going to Juilliard. She shared while speaking at an event for the nonprofit Hope for Depression Research Foundation at the Plaza in New York City. She had never been closer to her dream and never been further away from it, she said. When she was a student there, she struggled through the classical voice program, explaining the voice that they were trying to shape wasn't mine, that the path they wanted for me, it wasn't the one that I had dreamt of. And that disconnect between who I was and who I was trying to be started to break down. Okay. McDonald said she was too proud to admit that I was falling apart. I fought my whole life to get there, and now that I was there, I was lost. Completely lost. When you're someone who already struggles with anxiety and depression, that kind of pressure doesn't make you tired. It doesn't just make you tired. Excuse me. It eats at you. It scrambles your thoughts. It makes your own mind feel like an enemy. And I smiled through it. I joked through it. I said I was fine. I wasn't fine. I was 20. And one night I broke. No, I'm not, no. I'm not going to go into what she said, well, what he did, but she did attempt. Okay, she did attempt, and she shared that she called the student affairs director for help. I said, please help me, and she did. She stayed with me. She called for help, and she saved my life. From there, she spent a month heavily medicated at Gracie Square Hospital, psychiatric hospital on the Upper East Side. I was disoriented. I was unsure of who I was anymore. It was the darkest time of my life, but it was also the beginning of my healing. And this is important. I want to say this clearly, that time I needed the medication. I needed it to keep me safe for myself. McDonald's voice wavered as she continued, admitting, I didn't think I'd get emotional. Maybe there's a little bit of beauty. Maybe there's a little bit of beautiful irony or grace in the fact that the hospital that saved my life was called Gracie Square. At the time, I didn't understand what grace really meant. I didn't know how to give any to myself. But now, all these years later, I see it differently. Grace was waiting for me long before I knew how to claim it for myself. McDonald, explained, saying it took time, therapy, lots of therapy, still therapy, along with medication and patience to heal. And years later, McDonald, who has a record-breaking 11 Tony Award nominations and 6 wins, has had a full circle moment. I found myself walking, waddling past Gracie Square every week, out to her OBGYN appointments while pregnant with her second child, daughter Sally James, who was born in 2016. Every time I pass that building, I look up at the windows and remember that scared 20-year-old girl who thought her story was over. And then I catch my reflection, 46 years old, extremely pregnant, waddling down the street, craving hot fudge, McDonald said. What a difference, right? The young woman who thought she had no future, and here I was, literally carrying the next chapter. Every step past that hospital felt like a love letter to survival. A reminder that coming home to yourself isn't about going back to who you were. It's about becoming who you're meant to be. Over the years, she's learned that depression lies. I agree with that. It tells you that you're a burden, you're too much, that the world is better off without you. It whispers those things so quietly and so often that you start to believe them. None of it is true. Asking for help, that's the bravest thing you can do. Adding that the bravest thing she ever did was call her student affairs director, Laurie Carter. I've also learned that healing is not a straight line. It's a daily practice, one that still continues every day, even now. Some days are clear, some days get cloudy, but I've learned to keep coming back to grace, to keep loving myself, to keep giving myself permission to fail today and try again tomorrow. And there's power and strength in that. All right. Yeah. So just yeah, just reinforces that asking for help is one of the best things, the bravest things that you can do. Okay. And I thought what I read was what it spoke to me was give yourself permission to fail. Okay. Give yourself permission to fail today and try again tomorrow. Okay. And another point that she brought up was healing is not linear. No, it's not a straight line. No, healing from depression goes like, or anything that you're dealing with, addiction goes like, eh, 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 eh. Okay. That's what recovery is like. Okay. That's what healing, that's what recovery is like. Okay. It's not an easy road. Um, you have to be willing to accept the hard days along with your good days. Okay. You just gotta stick with it. You just gotta go through the hard days. And anybody who has recovered from depression, anxiety, addiction, they'll all tell you one thing: recovery is not easy. You're gonna have bad days. Okay. Anybody, of course, you're gonna have good days in recovery. Okay. But um, a true test will come when you have bad days. Okay. And you're going to have several bad days. It's what do you do in those bad days? Okay. Are you going to throw in the towel, or are you going to just keep going through the bad days and do like Audra McDonald said, fail to today, give myself grace to try again tomorrow. Okay. So, yeah. All right. That's it. And that's all for The Sean For Real podcast. I am out of here. May God bless you all. Peace out.